Okay. Right. Where you go? Right there. Okay. All right. So I thought of this idea. No, how should I start this? Okay. So I how do I start this? Hmm. Okay. I should have probably come up with some kind of talking points. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Okay. So, I'm developing a game, and I thought, why not have my 2D pixel characters hang out and stream with me while I'm developing it? Because I'm streaming the game while I'm developing it. And I thought, why not have them animate across the screen on stream and kind of hang out, just kind of dance around the bottom of the screen, maybe interact with my computer, my desktop, maybe climb up the side of the desktop, things like that. So I thought about how could I do that. I thought, oh, there's actually a pretty easy way to do that. I could actually do some animated GIFs and just kind of generate them on the fly. And if I generate them on the fly, then I can have these little characters, so to speak, that are walking across the screen, kind of interact with my desktop and react to things that is happening. Maybe I'm compiling the game that I'm building, and the characters could, maybe they tap on their hands and do, waiting for that compiler. Yep. And anytime now. Although actually I'm doing C#, so it doesn't take that long to compile. But those kind of things. So I thought it actually wouldn't be that hard. So I've got a little bit of a sample going, and actually I can kind of show you real quick this silly little thing dancing across the screen is a little animation that was built on the fly, and it could have easily have been built. Oh, actually, I see that it's behind that. Let's not put it behind that. In front of it. It could have easily been built on the fly, like I was talking about, because this is the code that I used to build this. It was the starter code for basically what I'm going to do. So I got a little bit of code copied away. I'm dragging it across the screen. I'm having fun with it, but anyway, there'll be a little strip somewhere I'll place, like maybe at the bottom of the screen, and I'm not going to do one this big, but there'll be a little strip on my screen where a little dude will walk across, and he's not necessarily going to walk like that. That's boring, and it's not going to be a blob, but that was just a test. So we're going to basically create little animated GIFs that we can place, and you can see how I'm doing this. I have my little GIF that I'm placing where it goes on the stream, so it'll just sit there, and then I'll change what that GIF looks like on the fly. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. So let's put that back over there. Wait, what happened here? It's got all messed up. So I get from moving stuff around. I had it perfect. Okay, now we're fixed. Okay. So what are we going to do? So like I said, we have an application that we're trying to create. It's going to animate GIFs on the fly. They're going to be embedded into the stream so that the animations are shown on the screen as they are created. Using the ability to create animation on the fly, we can animate a mascot in a way that will make it appear as though it is interacting with my desktop when the images that the application is producing are provided to the software like OBS Studio. In the future, this application can be modified to make the application feel more alive by reacting to various events, like tapping on the wrists, like the example I just gave. So, I didn't need to read that because I just basically said that. But anyway, so here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a new console application. That's what it's going to be. It's just going to be a console application running in the background of my computer while my stream is running. And we'll set the project up. We're going to create what I'm going to call a sprite class. You know, they have in game engines and stuff, you know, sprites and stuff. But this is going to be a little bit different. That's what I'm going to call it. It's going to be the sprite class. And it's just going to reference an image. And it's going to have any information I need about that image that I need to store specifically for that one image. And then we're going to have an animation class. And the animation class is going to basically point to a set of these images. And you're going to have extra information like the delay between when you're going to show these images so that you can basically have an animation. These animations, though, will be essentially kind of in-place animations. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a scene. And the scene class is you're going to be able to hand it a set of animations. So you're going to be like, I want to take this animation and I want to place this animation, which is what it is it's a series of sprites that are, you know, flipping between the different sprites. You know, maybe it's the guy walking, so it's, you know, it's his legs in different positions. And the scene class, we're going to tell it, here's our animation, and we want this animation to be here on the screen. And now we want this animation to be moving across the screen. So we want to go over here. So put it over here and do it over a certain amount of time. So it'll look like this guy's walking across my screen. And then we're going to have a coordinator class. And the coordinator class is the one that's actually going to be setting up the scene. And then, so we'll then create little actions, and we'll be able to create little actions in that coordinator class. We'll be able, or give it actions that it can do. And then maybe it'll randomly choose things to do. At least that's what it's going to do now. It's going to be random. So it'll just decide, you know, okay, he's on the left-hand side of the screen. He's going to sit there for a while. And then after a while, he's going to get up, walk across the right-hand side of the screen. And then he'll sit down over there. And then maybe he'll decide to, you know, open a door that just magically pops out of my desktop and then walks into my desktop and then closes the door and disappears, right? And then you know, and then we can have it where it knows that it's gone, and then later he'll decide to come back and then do stuff. So anyway, so that's what coordinator class is. It actually coordinates the scene and sets it up, clears it when it needs to do something different, and then later when it's reacting to events, we can have it, you know, we might have it say, you know, might just be doing random stuff like just walking across the screen or something. But then I might start compiling, and then that might be an event that we want it to react to. So if that's an event we want it to react to, maybe we'll have it stop. Basically, he'll stop right there, and then he'll switch to a compiling animation where he'll just kind of tap on his watch, be like, oh, yeah, compiling. How long is it? Oh, we got a pilot. Yeah, and you'll, you know, maybe cheer, and then the coordinator will then decide, okay, now what do I want to do? And then it might start, you know, walking again or doing whatever it wants to do. So that's going to be the setup. So let's do it. Let's build this thing. 'Cause I don't think it's actually going to be that hard to build. And I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to create any kind of crazy animations today. That's not what this is about. Project. Wait, I want the wizard. Give me the wizard. Start window. There we go. I guess it's the same thing. Yeah, but we're not going to create any beautiful animations today. That's not what this is about. This is about creating our little Mascot app. Mascot. Why is caps on? Mascot app. Do I envision? Usually I name the solution one thing and the app a different thing. Yeah, let's do it like that. What do we call it? Stream Mascot. We'll call it the Stream Mascot app. So we'll have the solution called Stream Mascot. And then the app can be the in case we need another application later. I want to plan ahead. Did I spell all that right? I think so. Yep. Okay. Oh. I was waiting for it, but okay. Okay, so like I said, I have a little bit of example code, so I'm not going to waste time learning some stuff that I want, because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do what I wanted, and I have in my code some super awesome naming things like duper. I like to name things like that, but we're not going to be doing that. Okay, so what do we want to try? Actually, we don't need that right now, do we? What do we want to do? We want, like our agenda says, we want to create, we install our dependencies. What was that? It was the magic stuff. You know what? I should have written down ahead of time the name of that package. But if I remember right, yeah, there you go. It remembers magic. Magic spelled weird. Magick. And then we want, I'm going to do the Q8 version because I'm doing 8-bit. I don't care about high fidelity image because I'm doing 8-bit pixel art. So that's what we're going to do. I imagine, did I hit install on that? I feel like I didn't. I did. Okay. I feel like that probably will be a performance issue because it already, my test, when I do very big things, when I try to animate, so I started out with animating the entire screen. I was my screen is bigger than a 1920 by 1080, 1080p screen, but that was the image size that I was trying to stretch across the screen, so I scaled it up. Anyway, so I was trying to animate a 1920 by 1080 image, and it takes quite a bit. So if we want this thing to react, the faster it can build these animated images, the better, because it won't look like it's reacting if it has to take a long time. And I have some ideas on how we can cache previous animations that we've built and stuff like that to kind of speed up things. But for now, I won't worry about the speed, but also I will, like I said, start with the base of 8-bit for this because I'm doing 8-bit animations, and I think that will help us with performance because we'll have some performance issues. And I don't think this is necessarily the best way to build this kind of thing. I think probably if I really wanted to build this, the best way probably would be with with the game engine basically, and just make the game transparent and full screen, and and then essentially the only thing the game would be just that little character at the bottom of the screen or wherever you want it to be. But that would take more time and more effort. And this little hacky thing that I'm going to build, or maybe it's hacky, I don't know. But this little thing I'm going to build, I think I can build it pretty quick. So let's do it. So first off, my agenda, I said after I installed that thing, I wanted to create a sprite class. That's right. So let's create a sprite class. And some of the stuff's going to be real simple. Sprite. All right. Public constructor. So I'm going to create a constructor. Do we need a constructor? Let's not force a constructor. I don't know how I want to use this right yet. but I do know that I need a name. Okay, real quick, do I want to decide? I think we're one full path. But I don't want to force the user to have everything in one directory. I think. So path, file path. And I think eventually we're going to, oh yeah, this version of C# wants all strings to be initialized ahead of time unless I say that it can be null. I'm just gonna do this to appease the compiler gods. So I think I also might want on my sprite a basically like a little pivot point, like a place where because these are little characters I imagine that I'm animating, and the pivot, it'll maybe have a default of like 0, 0 or something, I guess, probably. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that because that's what we can do. We can have a we'll just have it as a vector 2, and then this will be the pivot. So what this will be is the point. So if you tell the scene, place this sprite or this animation or wherever at a certain location, it's not actually going to start maybe at the corner of the image, or which you normally would, or whatever. Maybe it's the top left corner if it's the top, if that's the way the coordinate system goes, or if it's starting from the bottom left, it's be the bottom left corner. But it's not, that would be the default normally on an image. But for this character, his where he's standing in the center of the image, and we want to be able to think about where he's standing, right? So we want to be able to say, in this image, where's the point in this image where it basically is where he's standing, where his feet are. So there'll be some pixel that we'll pick, some pixel position that we'll pick on each sprite. That'll be the pivot, and probably for most of them, or maybe all of them, it may be the same spot. But I don't think it's going to be, for convenience sake, it won't be probably 0, 0, 0 in the X and 0 in the Y. It will be, wherever his feet are. So I think that's about all. You want a pivot, and that's right. I created this thing. I'm creating my own class. I don't know if there's a built-in one that I can use, but I'm in the habit lately of creating my own. And you might notice some things magically just being typed for me. It's because I've installed GitHub Copilot, so it's going to make auto suggestions, but I shouldn't have taken that one because it made a float vector, and we want an int vector. Our vectors can be integers. At least right now they are. Maybe I'll change my mind later. Okay. So we have a sprite, and it has a pivot, and that's all we need. Okay. That's done. I think that might be all that class ever has. All it does is just holds information. Kind of like this class. Animation. So this class, well, do we want it just to hold, or do we want it to have a nice way to add things? I think we might want it to be hold things. Make these things dumb. Alright. So we have an animation class, and what the animation class is going to do, yeah, that's GitHub Copilot. I have no idea what it's trying to suggest, but GitHub Copilot. Ignore that gray stuff. That's not what we'll be doing. I should probably turn this off. I'm just so used to good programming with it. But okay, so let's GitHub. You're Copilot. You're someone. Okay. We are going to have a list of sprites. Actually, you know what? I didn't think about this. Okay. We want to store extra information, so we need an extra class. I didn't put it in the agenda. We need an extra class. We need, like it said, it knows. It's starting to get smart. I don't know what it was talking about. A license? I don't know. But now it understands. Yes, we want a frame. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. Thank you for building our frame. And our frame is going to have, no, almost. It's going to have our sprite, right? Our sprite. And what else do we need? GitHub Copilot. Yes, we do. So we want an integer duration. Yeah, probably. Okay. So is that when it? Yeah, duration. So the duration will be how long that sprite will be shown in the animation. And so what an animation will be just a series of frames and a list. And the frames could be, could go back to the same sprite multiple times if you want, whatever you want to do. And we'll create a constructor to appease the compiler gods. And I do this anyway, typically. In my little property classes, I always create the list ahead of time so I don't forget. Oh, and our sprite, it wants it. Well, we're always just going to create a frame. We're just going to create a constructor. What happened there? And we will take our sprite and our duration in milliseconds will be our duration. So we'll set our sprite equal to our sprite and our duration equal to our duration. Simple enough. Alright. Have we appeased all the compiler gods? I believe so. Alright. I think that's all that is, right? I think that's all that I wanted the animation. Where's my plan? That's all I wanted the animation to be, right? Yeah, it's just going to hold a set of images. Alright, so that's all it is. It holds it. So an animation, I guess, is holding a set of frames. Frames will list a sprite and a duration that the sprites can be shown. So you then put those set of frames consecutively in a series, and it will play. Okay, so it just popped in my head. Typically, animations loop. What do we say? What happens at the end of the animation? Yeah, actually, yeah. So we'll have an extra Boolean that will say that, like GitHub Copilot suggests, we'll say is looping. Sure, is looping. Let's let GitHub Copilot name the variables. Let's do that. I don't know. Well, actually, I don't know if that's a good idea, but we might do that. Okay. So next on our agenda is to create our scene. I think before we animate, I think we can create our scene first. It's flying by. And that's why I wanted to create this on a video, because I think this is neat. I'll show people how simple this thing is. We're going to create this. It's going to come alive. It's so simple. So simple. All right. So what is our scene? Our scene is a collection of animations and positions. So we're gonna want to hand the scene. We're gonna have it say, here's an animation. And I want to play this animation. It's going to start at a certain position, and I want to go. Well, actually, I guess what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to have actions that it can take. We're going to say play an animation at this position for a duration, which I guess the duration could just be 0, and we could just because that could be what we say put the thing here and play it, and that could be the only thing in the scene, and it just does that forever, or it could do it for a certain amount of time. And then we also might want to say place animation at a certain position, and I want to move it then to a different position. And for now, we'll just do, I think in this video, we'll just have it'll linearly interpolate. So it'll basically move from one position to the next gradually over time, however much time you give it. And then so we'll have a series of these things, these operations. So I guess for now we'll have give me an animation and show it for a certain amount of time in a position, or give me an animation and 2 positions in a certain amount of time. Okay, no. Why do we need? Because I just realized as I was talking that out. Why do we need to have 2 different distinct things when I could just say that the positions are the same? So I could say go from here to there. Sorry, I didn't plan this a lot ahead of time because my brain's churning, and I'm starting to think about, what if I want to tell this guy to move at a certain velocity and I'm not over a certain amount of time. But let's not do that. We might want to do all that kind of stuff. We might say run a certain velocity, because that might actually be the better way to move this character, is not over time, but actually to just say move to this position at a certain velocity, and whenever he gets there, he gets there. And then say, once you get there, do this, right? So you don't have to then figure out certain times. You can just say, go here, and here's... Okay, we need to do one thing, but I think that actually might be the right thing. Is that the right thing? Because this is the character. I'm not just animating. If I was animating... I think that is the right move. Let's build that. Okay. That's what we're doing. That's what we're building. And then we'll do the one where we just tell it a time, and it goes from one position to the next over a certain period of time. We'll build that later. But right now we'll build... No, let's build the easy one. Let's build the easy way, because we can at least get the easy one working, and then we can have different modes. That's what we'll do. Always start simple, most minimum viable product. Minimum viable product for this is given a position, move to a different position. Not trying to do physics and velocities, because then if we do velocities, I mean, we gotta make sure he stops when he gets there, and then I guess basically it's like a game. We do collisions, and I don't want to build that yet. That's not. I just want to animate a little dude across the screen. So that's what we're gonna build. So let's get our scene. Our scene is a series of animations and positions for those animations over a period of time. A scene is not probably the right word for this, but that's what I'm calling it right now until I can think of a better name. And also, so I need to make it. I need to store these things in a way that I can change what it is, so that later we can add more things that it can do. So our scene is going to need a list of something that it's going to do. This is not... It's really frustrating me because it's frustrating me because I'm realizing now that scene's not the best name for what this is. This is a plan. That's what this is. This is a plan. And yeah, because I don't think I want... If it was a scene, it would have to... it kind of is a scene. I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, no, it actually kind of is a scene because it's gonna have to store information about where the thing is. I think at any moment in time, so it has positional information about these things. It's a scene, um, but it's a scene. But it's kind of weird. It's not like a scene in a game engine or something because it's gonna be like a. It's gonna be given a plan, and it's like, here's what here's what I want you to look like, basically. So here's our plan. Our plan is going to be a list of, no, it can't be animations, right? Like I said, it has to be something, or store something. Scene, it's almost like scene frames, but these aren't frames. I think frame might be. Well, actually, yeah, we still call the animation a frame. Why not? Yeah, I can't get hung up on names. I didn't plan this out ahead of time, so I can't get hung up on names. And this would be, we'll just call it strings. So if I get hung up on names right now, and I do that a lot of times, if I get hung up on names, I'll get stuck on it. And I'm recording this. And we don't want to get stuck while we're recording. So we're not going to get hung up on names. And we're not going to take whatever this crazy thing is trying to suggest. And you get a compile is great, but when it hasn't figured out what you're doing yet, it sometimes gives you some completely unguided, crazy stuff that is not helpful. I put the S on it, so I didn't understand what I was trying to do. What's going on here? Why is this scene? Oh, because it's a scene frame. Oh, I called it a frames. Didn't mean to do that. Scene frame. Alright, so we're just counting frames. Yeah, so for now that's what. No, actually, I don't think we want to store this as a property. Do we? I think basically this is the plan. Yeah. This is the plan. So we have a plan that is a list. Alright, here's what we'll do. We're going to be given a scene plan. On the fly, I'm figuring this out. That's the way I program anyway. So I was trying to plan it at a time, and you just can't plan like you just can't plan like that. All right, you're the guy with the frames. No, none of that. I want. Let's just go grab it. You're the one with the frames. All right. So we're going to create a plan. Why? What's going on? I didn't put it inside the class, which is what's going on. This is not right. Constructor. Clean all this up. Right there. Perfect. Okay. Alright. We got a scene plan. Alright, so given a plan, do we need to store it? I think we need to store it. Because I think basically what we'll do is we'll just say, all right, we have a plan, and what's our thing we're on? And then once we get to the next thing, we'll just say, okay, what is this? And then do that thing. Okay. So we'll store our plan. And our scene. Oh, wait. Okay. No. This is not how we're going to do it. Because we want... Scene is going to be given a plan. But... Alright, so we'll have like a... We'll have active plan. And I like to do things verbose. So this thing is default null. But I like to... A lot of times... scene plan. Actually, I don't have. Yeah, I do need to. Anyway, I didn't need to say it's null, but I like to say in the constructor this null just to anybody coming by later to remind them, hey, it's null. Okay. In the start, remember that. Okay, so we want to set the plan. So it's going to set the active plan, and then we'll probably have to also clear what we're doing. So we'll have a clear function. I don't even know what that's going to do right now. Whatever. Actually, we'll have a Boolean. If active, what is it trying to suggest? If kind of. I wanted to call it clear. It wants to call it reset. It's just for fun. For fun. but you're wrong. That's not exactly what I wanted. All right, hold on. We'll call it reset. Oh no, it was trying to reset the active plan. That's not what I want to do. Yeah. This is what I want to do, Copilot. You don't understand me yet, Copilot. Sometimes it doesn't understand. All right, so what I want to do is I'm thinking that you might be doing something and then you might say, okay, here's the thing I want to do next. And you might want to not have, you let it finish to whatever it's doing. So, but then you might want to say, stop whatever you're doing. Right. Yeah. I think. No, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. I'm thinking like this is real time. This is not real time. This is not real time. This is wrong. It's not real time because it's going to be given a thing. It's going to build it. If we need to stop it, we'll need to cancel it in a different way because it has to build an animation and then present it basically to the stream. And then if it wants to do something else, it has to build a whole new animation. And we'll build it off on the side, and then we'll swap them out when it's ready, when the animation is ready, because it actually takes time to build this animation. So, this is wrong. That's wrong. Yeah. We are, actually, yeah, this whole thing's wrong. I was thinking like my head space was in where I wanted to be, because what I wanted to do was to have this thing be real time. But then I realized the time that it takes to do certain things, and it's not realistic to do this real time. So the most realistic then way to design this is just to say we're going to create a scene, give it a plan, and it will do the things in our plan. Okay, so here's our plan. Sorry. Maybe you want to edit this. I'll edit that whole part out. All right, so we have a plan and our scene, and then yeah, exactly, something like that. Play the scene. I like it. For all the frames, do something with the frame. Exactly, do something with the frame. What are the frames in our plan? It's a scene frame. What's in a scene frame? We didn't say what it's in a scene frame yet. All right. So we're gonna have a plan that's gonna have frames for the plan. Every frame is a scene frame. And every scene frame, like I said before, means an animation. We're gonna have an animation. And I'm trying to think. No. We don't know what we're going to have. We don't know what we're going to have. We might change our minds in the future. This gives us flexibility. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a scene frame type. And then based on the frame type, this thing can do whatever that frame type dictates. And these frame types will just be an enumeration. For right now, we'll just have one. But this will give us flexibility in the future. But no. This one's going to be a move. So given two positions, move. And then I think we can even, or yeah, okay. And then we'll add one maybe probably just for standing or something. I think that'll make more sense. But anyway, and then yeah, I tend to want to make this generic, but then I know that I'm gonna then fight because I got to store these, and they're all gonna be in generic types. No, I don't want to fight that right now. I don't want to deal with it. We're not going to do generics. We're just going to do it as an object. And yeah, frame data, sure. And then no, I don't even need constructor because this, I'm not going to set it to anything. Well, yeah, I can. I can set it because I can say that the constructor, let's enforce it to provide the values in the constructor. So we'll have the first thing be the, no, let's do the type. I like the type first. Scene frame type, and then object frame data, and then frame type equals type, and then frame data equals frame data. Okay. Alright, so we got our, and then we'll just cast it in the scene. We'll say, okay, what type are you? Oh, you're the move type. Then I know that your object is going to have a, oops. I can go ahead and create the type for that. Might as well. What? We already did that. Why are you trying to create a second time, weirdo? I don't know. And that's what I do. I sit here and talk to GitHub AI as I program, basically, because I am the weirdo. But yeah, so we're going to now, yeah, so let's create the scene frame. So we're going to have basically scene for the class, scene, what is this? Like a move frame? Move frame data. So the move frame will have it. We'll have, that'll be what will be right here. Because I don't want to put the move frame there. Normally I would put the data type, but we want this thing to be flexible, store different data types, and we'll flip flop. We'll cast this object to the appropriate type based on this, And like I said, I'd like to do that. Actually, I'll just have this thing move it for us. I'd like to do this generically with generics, if you know what those are. But I don't want to deal with it right now, because there'll be a problem, because I need to store a list of these, and they would each be their own type, and then I have to figure out how then to, yeah. That's the unfortunate part about generics that I haven't found a nice solution to. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. You don't need to know. Okay. So, alright, so we got our frames. And in our frame, we have a frame data. So we're going to say if frame type equals move, then we're going to, okay, so we're going to have functions that will be made for each different type of scene type. so that we can keep this clean. Because otherwise, this play function will get real dirty real fast. So what we're going to say is we're going to say we're going to play a move. Play a move frame. Yeah. What were you trying to do? No, you were trying to do it. Play move. Go ahead and do it, Copilot. I scared it away. It doesn't want to do it anymore. Play a move frame, and then you pass it in. I'm assuming that's probably what it said. I just wanted to go see what it was suggesting. But that's what I'm sure it's probably what it said. Play the move frame. Alright. And then, since we know that this is a move frame, Copilot, like it's suggesting, is we gotta cast this to a move frame, but I called it a move frame and it doesn't remember what we called it. And that's what would be great about when Copilot, because it was made by the same people that did ChatGPT. So when Copilot gets upgraded with some of the smarts from ChatGPT, it remembers what you just did, and I think it would have realized that what move frame I was talking about was that move frame. Yeah, do something with move frame. Indeed, do something with move frame. We don't need his comments anymore. I don't know. It's like it was. Oh, is it talking to me? It's like do something here. Yeah, indeed, do something. Okay. So, all right. So we have our move frame. Do we want to start writing the code that feeds all this data into it, so we can kind of get it? No, I mean, let's work with it, right? Let's start thinking this out a little bit more, just a little bit more, and then we'll get some more practical. All right, all right. So we're gonna have we know that we're playing a move frame. The plan, for one, I'm thinking I missed some stuff in the plan. The plan, yes, it has frames, but these scenes. So each scene is going to have a size. So I think I've forced. I can't remember. I don't think I've forced any constructors so far. We're not too many. So I'm trying to keep this. I'll go through and stylize this project the same way throughout. I don't remember if I'm using. Sometimes I use constructors heavily, and sometimes I use just object initializers. I can't decide my style. So frame count? No, you don't need frame count. It's why it's. Oh, you're trying to surface it? Yeah, but if I'm surfacing, here we go. I gotta go again. I shouldn't do that. I'm talking to GitHub Copilot. It's trying to say we might want to have a frame count property that surfaces the count from the frames. But if I might want that, but not if I'm already surfacing the frames directly through a public property, because then they can just call count on it. Why do I need to have a second property for count? That's stupid. I would only do this if I wasn't directly allowing them to see the frames. They just knew that I had frames and they wanted to ask how many of I had. Then I would surface the frame count like this. But not when the frames are public. So, no, bad GitHub Copilot. That is not what we want to do. Okay. So, we have a scene plan, but we need a size. So, our integer Copilot is a width. And watch, now that I give it a width, it will tell me that we need a height, right? We do need a height. Yes, Copilot. Now you figured it out. We need a width and a height. Because our scene, this is going to represent how big the image is going to be that we're basically building. That's what our scene is. Our scene is an image builder, essentially. So we're going to give it a plan of basically these images and say, here, animate these images across yourself. And so here, you're going to be this big, and here's all the images, and here's all the animations we want to do. Go ahead and do it, and it's going to build it. Yeah. So, and, okay, so real quick, I got to think. I didn't think this out at a time. As I'm talking this out, is it the one that actually, separation of concerns, Is it the one that actually is going to do the image building, or is it just a storage mechanism for, because we've done a lot of storage mechanisms. At some point, we got to build the thing that actually does the thing. But is this it? I'm looking at. I'm talking about this guy. Is this it? Are you it? So he's this. So this guy's either the guy that, or I don't know, or girl. I guess you could be a girl class. I don't know. Do classes have genders? Um, this is either the class. Yeah, separation and construction. I feel like maybe he should dictate to another class. Yet another class. Okay, I had do the drawing for me. Um, I don't know. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I can't tell what the right answer for this one is. So we'll just, right now, he'll be the guy that does it. And then the class that does it. And then, um, yeah. Sorry. So our scene's going to be the class that, our scene's going to be the class that creates the image. And then if later I figure out that that's not the best way to do it, because of separation of concerns, because it's doing too much, and then I'll separate it out later. But I'm getting too bogged down and trying to decide, and I don't want to get bogged down. Gotta move. All right. So we have a move frame, and remind ourselves, what does the move frame done? It doesn't do anything yet. All right. We have a scene frame type. All right, so our frames. So what does a move frame do? A move frame has a public animation. It has two animations. No, it has one animation. And the transition to different animation. It has an animation. You'll be doing this animation. And it has a public vector to start position. And it has a public vector to end position. I can get a copilot. And that all it has. Oh, and it has a time. Public scale. That's a good point. But no, we're not doing that yet. We're just going to do it at scale. We might want to scale that later. Yeah. Yeah, it knows. I don't know what the clue is, why it changes mine. Did I press? I don't, who cares? It's not good. One can never know what the quirks of Copilot. Okay. You have to have animation. And it wants one. Yeah. This new version of C#, I don't know, was it 9 or 7 or whatever, when they start adding the non-nullable stuff, and it just always complains to you. And I don't want warnings. I'm like, I don't want these warnings in my project. I can't handle warnings, so I gotta appease the compiler gods. So I either need to choose to say that the thing is nullable, which in truth will never be nullable, because what's a move animation without the animation? Or do I want to force it in the constructor? But why do I want to force pass in the constructor? Because I like object initializers. So I think this is probably what I want to do. Alright. So that's our move frame, but I think that's all we need. An animation, start position, end position, duration. Okay. Alright. Oh, it's late at night. Okay. So, we have a move frame. And then we do the thing with the thing. How do we do this? Alright, so the move frame is an animation. An animation is a sprite, was a series of sprites and durations, and then so this move frame is taking these sprites and basically, moving, sliding. Well, I'm probably going to slide them this way, but you could make them go wherever you wanted to go. But anyway, so yeah. All right. Like I said, this probably shouldn't be called a scene. But we're gonna call it a scene anyway. And so I guess when you play the move frame, you got what you're gonna do is you're essentially going to be drawing this picture into something else. So I think that actually now is where I need to start pulling in my code for my example. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull all of this stuff in. Alright, what was this? Alright, let's just pull it all in. It's gonna be dirty. Yeah. Cause we don't want all of it. I know that. But it'd be easier if it's just sitting in here instead of over there. Okay. So, hello world, definitely not. I didn't write that. C# wrote that for us. Thank you, C#. We don't need that. And these were settings for its example that it was writing text out. We're not going to be writing text out. But nice to know the library can do that. Okay. And my silly little... This code is the code that built this. Wonderful. Let's call it a leaf. This little leaf petal that is walking across my screen. This little hunk of code right there did that from this little image. And basically, I don't know if this is the best way to do it. That's what I forgot to do it. Is I have a blank. So I start out with a blank PNG. It was transparent of a certain size, and then I gave it an image, which was this leaf petal. And then you could say with this is a library that we pulled in, we installed, and with it you can say I want to composite. So that means I want to build it. I want to place. Oh well, okay. So you can tell it says caption here. It's not a caption. This is an image 2. They called it caption because in their example that they had, and this hint is from their example, they were doing text, and I just copy pasted it. So, okay. All right. So this is the code that did that. Anyway, so it composited it over the image, and then I decided what I did was I have a temporary folder that I place all these in, and so we generate a file, and then we write this new image that we created which is that blank file, and then this sprite placed in a certain position. Oh yeah, sorry. Bad labeling, but this I is actually an X coordinate. So my image was 1920 pixels, like a 1080 width. It had 1920 pixels wide. But because I didn't want to figure out the math of how big my little pedal boy is over here, I just arbitrarily said, let's animate you 1700 pixels across that 1900 span, and so that I didn't have to worry about it doing overflow accidentally and accidentally going past or whatever. And I guess I guess what would happen probably, I don't know how the image thing would treat it. It probably, because the way I would have coded it, it basically would have smashed the pedal into it. Because I didn't want to give the time, I didn't want to spend the time to figure out how wide the pedal was, and I could just looked it up, but that's how lazy I was. I was like, but anyway, but we're not going to we're not doing silly loops like this. But the code that I want to steal that's important here is this thing lets us basically build an image from other images. So we're going to use that feature for sure. And then this little feature gives us animated GIFs. So what we can do is, what I'm doing here is I'm just looping over all these. Remember I said I'm storing these in a temporary folder. So then what I do is I loop over using this wonderful file named myfile. I loop over this directory of temporary files we just created, these temporary images, because we're creating a series of images that's essentially this little pedal in the different positions that it's sitting in. I don't know, should I keep animating this pedal across the screen? Maybe that helps your brain to see the pedal moving across the screen. So anyway, we have a series of files that are all the various images that represent this animation. So so every each little, you can see it, each little pause here, that's an image. All right, so it's going to loop over those, and then it's going to add them to the collection. You can see here we have this delay. So, and that's why we have our duration that we can say, and you see it says 100. I'm pausing here because I'm thinking. Like this, I thought this was milliseconds. And I'm looking at this thing now, animating, and how could that be milliseconds? Because that would mean that if that's milliseconds, then we should see 10 of those per second, right? Or no, am I thinking this wrong? No, I'm not. I'm not thinking. Right? Yeah, there should be 10 of those. 1,000 milliseconds is a second. What is this? 1/100th of a second. Why? I'm sure it probably has to do with the GIF standard. I'm sure the GIF standard doesn't allow something that fast. So it doesn't do it in milliseconds. It does it in hundredths of a second. What are those, decaseconds? Decaseconds? All right, how many decaseconds that is? Jesus Christ! All right, we're not doing decaseconds. We're doing milliseconds. Because I can't. Well, okay, crap. I keep that in mind. So you can't. I don't force people to say hundreds of seconds. Because if I do that, then no one thinks like that. How many hundreds of a second? Programmers don't think like that. People don't think like that. It's probably stretching it already to do milliseconds for some of the other person. But because I probably should do it like. Probably should do a floating point. Right? A decimal. You just say 1 point some seconds, and I convert it to my decaseconds. Maybe that's what I should do. What did I have my duration? I don't know if that's the right answer or not, but I think that might be what I do. Animation. You have a list of frames. That's what And if I figure out that I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. Hundreds of a second, that makes sense. Because this thing is not moving fast enough to be. It's moving in our decaseconds, but I passed it milliseconds. Timing. Okay. Yeah, duration, but our duration is a float. Or let's. I almost want to say seconds. Let's just say duration. Our duration was a float now. Our duration now is seconds, not milliseconds. And we have another duration, don't we? I think we want to keep this. We want to keep these the same so that we don't get confused. I think those are the only two durations we have. Or duration divide. I think we're good. Let's close all this jibber jabber. Get back to our scene. Okay. So yeah. So I think, yeah, our decaseconds. Jesus, I didn't know we had decaseconds. That shows you how much I planned. I really didn't plan ahead. I didn't know I had to deal with decaseconds. Well, that's okay. We can deal with decaseconds. Am I saying that right? It's been a long time. That's the one thing you never deal with. But I think it is. I think that's right. I think it's decaseconds. I think deca is 100. You never deal with deca. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. No one expects the deca. Okay. All right. So anyway, I got distracted by the decaseconds. So we are going to. So we have a temporary folder full of files, and then after we get a temporary folder full of files, we loop over them, and we tell it how long each of those images are going to be displayed, and then we call optimize on it. Why do we call optimize on it? Well, see, I thought the reason you call optimize in this library was I thought it was probably, surely what it's doing is it's like making the file real compact, optimized. And I was like, well, maybe that's a good idea. So let's keep that in there. And then I said, it's taken a long time. It's taken forever to build this. It's not forever, but it takes longer than I wanted. So I said, okay, well, let's turn optimization off, right? Because who needs optimization if we need speed? So if maybe it's optimizing for size, and I don't care about size. I care about speed. I want to be able to crank out these animations fast. We want to be able to react and create new animations so that our little character here can animate, but and can react to our events that are happening in our stream, right? But no, that's not what actually happened. Because when I turn optimization off, my little pedal here just starts smearing across the screen. So I don't know what optimization means, but what optimization means is that between these files I'm adding it in an animation delay, it will clear the image again. Because if it doesn't, it just, when you see it, the output of it just looks like the thing got it just animates the pedal smearing. I'm doing it wrong. Smearing across the screen. And that's not what you want. You want it, moving across the screen, and hopefully it's smoother than this little 100 decasecond pedal, or whatever. I guess I call it a pedal. So you're not a pedal. I don't know what you are. It was a blob of red that I just wanted to draw so that I'd have something to test. All right. So then after the optimization, it writes it out to a file. So that's going to be our file. And then I think probably what we're going to do is we're probably going to, I don't think we actually want to write it out necessarily right over the stream file immediately. Or maybe we do, but because we might want to, there might be some timing here. So I don't know, but for now we're just going to write it out to an A file, and then I'll swap it in the end. Like maybe the coordinator will swap it. Yeah. So I think we want to. I think the scene will basically, we'll just give it a plan, right? And the scene, given that plan, will then produce an output, and the output will be an animated GIF. And then our coordinator that we'll create in a minute, it will be the guy. We'll give it a bunch of fun stuff to do with our sprites, and given all that fun stuff to do, it'll decide what to do, what it can do, and it'll do things with it, meaning it'll create animations. And when it does that, it'll create a scene. It'll say create a scene, and here's the plan. It'll create a plan. The coordinator will be the one that creates a plan. It'll coordinate, creates a plan, and so it'll create the scene, and it creates a plan. Give it to the scene, and then the scene will output an animation to it, and then the coordinator will then swap out the current stream GIF for this pedal. So say the current animation was a pedal, and then all of a sudden the pedal, drops or something, or deteriorates, right? So then we would swap this little pedal moving animation out with a different animation, a different thing that it's doing, and that's what our app does. It just keeps swapping animations out for different animations or no animation. If maybe it's too busy to always be doing stuff. All right, so that's the magic. And then, the only other code I have written in here that I had to write to make this little magic pedal float across the screen is I wrote a little thing to create a temporary folder real quickly. Here's a little thing that generates a random directory. So you give it a folder, and it generates a random directory in here. This one, you give it a folder, and it creates a new folder inside of it called temp. And it does if it doesn't already exist. And inside of that, it creates the random directory. So basically, we just say, hey, I need a new temporary directory. So then it says, and I give it my base directory. That'll be whatever the folder we want to operate out of. That'll be our base directory. So given the base directory, it makes sure that there's a directory inside that called temp. And then it will, every time you do this, call this function inside of temp, it will create a new random directory. And I just randomly generated a number, and creates a directory. And this, you'll notice I delete. So I generate a bunch of sprites, and then use them to generate an animated GIF. But then afterwards, I clean up the sprites that I generated, because I don't want to keep those individual sprites that I'm using to generate this animation. I don't need to keep those around after the animation has been generated. And that's it. Oh, and the thing's complaining because there's compile errors, but that's okay, because we're going to delete most of this stuff. Actually, we're going to appease you, I think. Yeah. I pasted this part in here. We just want to cut some of this code out. We're not. And then just to let you know, since you see it, padded number, it does what it says. It basically takes a number, and it will basically pad zeros in front of it. And I used that because then that's because if you notice, this thing we have a prefix for our file names, and then I just gave them numbers. And when I did that without padding the numbers, and if that's the way that you animate, is you sort through those, because that's what I was doing. I was animating by sorting through those, and we don't have to do it like that. But that's just how this thing did. I was trying to get something working real fast. But if you loop through those things and you sort them, naturally, when you get files from a directory, I think naturally this thing sorts it probably alphabetically. and numbers, because of the way they work, when you sort them alphabetically, they don't sort perfectly. Like, because 10 and 1, when you see that sorted, I forget which one comes first, but it's like it would either be like 1 and then 10 and then the next thing would be 2. Well, that's not the right sort order, or it'd be 10 and then 1 and 2. Well, I can forget what it is, but whatever the default for that is, it's not what you want. So that I would see my pedal like jumping across the screen, because it would move for a little bit and then get to the 10 basically, and it would jump, and then you see it back, kind of going back to what I was doing, and then it would jump right back. So it just kept doing this. So, I was like, oh, okay, that's why I was causing it. It was because I was naming the files with numbers, but the sort order was incorrect because I was doing alphabetical sorting, and so I created this little pad function to fix that, so that then they got sorted. But I don't think this is probably not even how we'll do this. We don't have to use alphabetic string sorting to dictate the sort order of how it does this. I guess that was the right indentation. Right? What is this? Oh, it's the namespace. How'd you get? No. Just throw me off, because that should be over there. And the namespace, because the newfangled C# world uses file scope namespaces. We'll do that. Let's be good about it and do the new fancy stuff. Oh, did we do that? I never do this on purpose, at least. What do you mean you're an error? Am I reading this indentation right? How is this an error? Public class. Where's... Oh, it's right there. So that's why indentation matters. You do the wrong indentation and you just confuse yourself. Anyway, I don't know why I'm indenting this thing. I just need to chop this thing up. I don't want a program main here. We already have a program main. This was from if you remember right, this was from my little test that I was doing. Okay, so let's strip this thing up. Let's strip this up into its parts, I guess, is what we'll do. Alright, so this is the build animated GIF. Public void. And then I don't know what we'll need for these. I'm not paying attention, but it's going to complain about things that it needs, and we'll just feed it to it. Temp folder. It's happy, and then we'll need more in a minute, because this is hard-coded. I hard-coded file names, and we can't do that. But for now, that's fine. Okay, and then this is another chunk. This is the building a single image thing. So what do we call this? All right. Oh, that definitely is not. That definitely is not enough parameters. Build is probably not the right word either. I hate naming things. Name this. Exactly. Name this. Name this function. What is it called? It'll come to me in a minute. But that's going to be one function. And like I said, we're going to have some base folder. I'm going to need to give it a temporary folder. We're not going to just kind of loop over like that. It doesn't work like that. Do we want a temporary folder? I think we're still want a temporary folder. If I name these, one thing for names for these. I don't know that we're gonna do it like that, but I'm just gonna copy them for now, so I don't have to. I'm not gonna delete them and then change my mind and then have to go find them on my notes again. Keep them there. All right, collapse that down. Let's not. I don't even want to think about you anymore. You're done. I want to think about name this, build, and move player move frame. Can't click it. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Alright. Let's get it done. We need to animate some stuff. Did I ever go in here? I think I did. I got the width and height. Yes. That's very crucial. In fact, that probably... Oh, we have it. Yeah, we have our plan. Stored. So I guess we'll just ask the plan for the width and height. Okay, let me think about this. I started it out in my little test with the ability to, or the ability, it's not an ability. I started out with my little test that I built. I just started out with a blank PNG file. So I went into my little image application that I like to use. And then, where is it? Duper. My little Duper folder. There's the pedal. There's the animated pedal right there. In all its glory. If you use them on it. And there's the source of the animated pedal. Right there. But anyway. So the current version of it, see, I started out with the 1080p version, and it's too slow. I can't wait for it. At least not with the way I'm doing it right now. Maybe I'll be able to find some improvements, and then that's the way I want to do it, because I want to be able to not just have a small strip on the bottom. I want his playground to be the whole world. And if I have to do it in a small strip, and I want him to move across the entire screen, then I need multiple strips, right? And then I need to be like, okay, now we're going to animate him walk across the screen using the bottom strip. And now I want him to start climbing up the wall. Well, what do I do with that corner over there? I don't know. Do I have two different animations on basically that corner of my stream, essentially? And so I have to animate him going there. And then I have to have the other strip basically swap over to the vertical strip. And then the first frame of the animation is him standing right where you're standing with the horizontal strip. So you can't tell as someone viewing it that I have one image going vertical and one image going like this. And that's what is happening, is him walking across. But it's like, and it just transitions from the two strips seamlessly. I might have to do something like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. But I don't want to do that. What I wanted to do is I want to just have one big blank canvas that he can just walk all over it. And that's ideally what I want to do. But I can't figure out how to make that fast enough for my tastes right now. So for right now, that's not what I'm doing. I just have a little small strip. So all this file is, if you look at it, it's nothing. The little checkered board in this application means it's invisible. It's just a blank. Each one of these is a pixel. So, alright. Is it a pixel? I can't remember. No, it's not a pixel. I don't think that's a pixel. I guess I did more than that. Didn't I? Yeah. Here's the pixel. That's the pixel level. But anyway. But this just represents a completely blank image. And that's all I did. So that's all this is just a completely it looks black in Windows, but it's not black. It's transparent. But I don't think that's what we want to do. I don't think. But you know what? But that might be the easiest way. Cause I want to be able to move fast and get this done. And that's why I did that, because it was move fast and get it done. Now I have to learn something real quick. How do I get a blank, transparent image? Because it better be transparent. If it's not transparent, then this whole thing covers up the thing behind the stream, and then it doesn't work. I don't. All right, let's let's program with the assumption that I don't need the stoning thing, because I don't think I do. I think we can probably do something else without a blank strip. I think, and then I think I can pause it into it and stuff. Probably Magstrip probably will let me do that. And then if it doesn't work, then I'll fall back to my ghetto blank default PNG format way of doing things. So this is build imager, I guess. I like this word build, but I think that's what we're gonna go with for now. And this is definitely a private thing. And this is definitely a private thing. Alright, so that's my wife in the background yelling about some video game. And then okay. Let's see if we can create one of these without. Yeah. Alright, so you can hand it data. I mean, there's data. You don't need to tell it what kind of data it is. What is this? Oh, is it like a? Oh, no. It's a. Excuse me, it's late and I'm tired. Yeah. I was hoping. Like some kind of file format type thing. Like that. What is a magic format? But I don't have any data. Can I give you? Was there one with a magic format without data? I want like. Can I do this? So this is the first thing we should. We'll have to like test this out. So I'm doing something that I haven't done before ahead of time. I wanted to prove this stuff out ahead of time. Image alpha applies a specific alpha option. Applies a specific option to use. Alpha set, alpha on. I don't like these words. What does that mean? Alpha on and off and set. Oh, there's more here. Oh, I think this is what we want. Alpha mode transparent. And then image. I was getting confused there. I was like, my options are on, off, set, and whatever the other thing was. Like, this is not what I was expecting from you. But there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I'm wondering, in fact, there's so many things in there. I'm wondering if it's like a flag. By the way, if people don't know, you can hit Control, click, and dive into stuff that's not even yours. And you should be doing that if you're not, to learn about classes 100%. That's how you speak programming. Okay, so we need to set our width. Ooh, what's a base width? Get the width of the image before transformations. Get the width of the image. Do I need to set both of them? I just want to try set width. I assume it's probably going to set the base width too. Because that seems like... It's probably... Oh, it's... Base width. This is going to be... I can't set the width. So what's... If you can't set the width... Set... Size... or our plan width, plan height. Okay. Alright. So we've got a plan with plan height, alpha. I can't imagine our image like the default. I mean, I'm trying to guess. I've never tried to use this class like this. And I have to use this class because so far is the one that I found that works, that properly does animated GIFs transparently. I couldn't find the other one I used did not do it transparently. So I haven't tested this class to see what minimum needs, but we're just gonna try this. Let's hope that that's all you need to give it. In this scenario, our scenario, is I need to be able to resize it and tell it that it's transparent, and that'll get me back to basically our little base starting point of a transparent image of a certain size, because that's what this little strip did for us. It was a certain specifically sized blank image, and so I'm hoping with this initialization and these two methods calls, I'm hoping I can get back to the exact same position I was before, and we'll find out. Because it'll either throw an error, or it won't, or it will look right, or it won't. Okay. So, and then for every one of our images, we need to know what image we're going to build. So we need a file path to the image that, or the source file path. And then, okay. Alright, so this is, okay. So I'm realizing now that I need information about where I want to put this thing. And I don't know, like, I was like, okay, well, I need to know where you want to put it. And I'm thinking, well, wait, what about all the other future things I might want to do? Do they need position too? What are the things that they want to do? And what are the information they need to build their image? But so maybe you could pause over it. I'm thinking maybe what I do is, okay, right. Let me think. I don't want to do this. I can do it a couple ways. I can send an entire plan. I can send the entire plan out essentially. I don't know, like somehow choreograph the plan inside what we're going to, figure out the what of what we're going to do exactly, and then format, in other words, go from our scene plan to maybe some other version of that, if that helps us in any way, and then iterate over whatever that thing is to then build the animation. Or another way I'm thinking I could do is I could pass in oh, excuse me. I could pass in this is for every frame, play the frame. So I guess what we could do is we could pass in a method. I'm just trying to think of avoid basically using some kind of function pointer thing where we essentially start the build. It doesn't even know how many animations it's going to need, it just says, it asks the other part of it. Maybe why this is why we end up getting, we do a separation concern and you know, do a little judgment call on that and split this out in different classes, but probably in a little bit here. But maybe I'm listening. This is what I'm leaning towards. Is it maybe something where we on our play, maybe our play says, okay, first make sure we have a temporary folder set up. That's what my build thing needs. I don't know. If we haven't already set that up, and then create our collection. We won't loop through our files yet. What we'll do is we will make a call to something that basically says, give me stuff, and then it'll give you one animation, and then you go back and say, give me stuff, and I guess what it'll do is it'll say either say, it'll be like using the C# pattern, the try pattern, where it returns false and then has an out. And yeah, I think that's what we should do. That's where I'm leaning. Use the try pattern. Say, do you have another animation to give me? No, we don't. Okay. We don't have another animation to give you, then we're done. And then we optimize and we write it out. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so play is gonna change a little bit here. Play is going to say build temp. I mean, for now it's what we'll refactor later. Temp folder, and then remind myself. Alright. So what, for right now, I don't know what the right way to do this. Definitely seems not to make this choice. Oh, excuse me. Definitely seems not to make the choice, but for now, it will make this choice. Base temp or base. Let's do this right. Why am I writing the wrong thing? Okay, so we need a class for settings. Just in general setting. Why am I not getting? I need to click on this. Misclick. We need a scene settings. Now I want to say this is just the app settings. App settings. Okay. And one of the settings is going to be the picture folder, data folder. Let's call it that string. Let's call it data folder. And this will probably just be an app folder, but we need some folder where stuff's going to be, where I know stuff is. Yeah, C# vector data string empty. He's the compiler gods. Okay. And then that will be a app settings will also be passed in here. And cool. And then so we needed our temporary folder. To get a temporary folder, we needed a base folder. And then we'll have our base folder from our app settings dot I end up calling data. Okay. Data folder. Directory. Whatever you want to call yourself. But definitely not data. That's not what I meant to call it. Okay. So this is this generates a temporary folder. It creates one on the fly. So if we and then just while I'm at it, let me just go ahead and create this magical folder of mine. So let's go in here and create a new folder, and we'll call this thing Stream Mascot. Yes, the Stream Mascot folder. So that's what we're going to point our app settings to. So, very beginning of our app, we know one thing we're going to have. We're going to have app settings, new app settings. Yes. And, oh, you get so excited. You just want to create your plan, your scene. Oh, chill out, bro. That's the data folder, too. And put the @ symbol there so that, oh, it remembers my wonderful file name was called. But no, we've graduated now. Now we're in the Mascot, what I call it, Stream Mascot folder. The Stream Mascot folder. You don't need it. You don't need the extra slash. We're gonna use path combine, and it will do it for us. Okay. So we'll pass that along to our little, our Bobs and Dilly Dads and all that stuff later. But we're not setting that up. We're not calling it yet. But that's how it's going to get. That'll get set up right in the very beginning. You get passed to that guy. And, right. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah. We're doing it from the aspect of this still. Okay. So we gotta get this position. This is our position. You know, if you remember that, but I remember that. That I and 0 is really an X and a Y. Right? So let's put that there. That's where we want to be. Oh, that's right. I'm getting distracted. Alright, so I was restructuring things because I was realizing we're trying to figure out the right way to structure this. Okay. So play calls build now. Again, naming is probably horrible. Build is no longer. I need a place to put that. I need a place to put this, but yeah, it's not gonna be recursive. Let's put this. Oh God. I want to put it somewhere. I just want you to live somewhere. It's gonna live there in the comment for now. That's not where it goes, obviously. I just don't. I don't know why I do this. Like, it has no value. I can remember how to loop over something later. I know how to loop. I don't need that for memory of how to loop. Okay. So our play is calling our build function. Our play is calling our build function, and it's unlike my sample. All right. So what are the things that it is we're going to do? It is going to optimize. Yes. It's going to write. Yes. And it's going to have an output file path that we will need. And that can be decided here. Output file path. I'll figure that out in a minute. But that's something it's going to need. And then, at least the way I've been doing it, and that's what we do right now, we'll delete the temporary folder that we create. not the one that's called temp, but the little random one that it's that gets generated inside of that. We delete that along with all these other files. At least for now, that's what we'll do. And we don't want to call this my file. We want to call this this is the Mascot app for, I guess we'll call this Mascot whatever PNG. So no matter what our image source file names are, the thing we're building will be a series of Mascot PNG files. So it'll be like Mascot 1, Mascot 2, Mascot 3, Mascot 4, into infinity, however many things your animation has. But again, wait, I'm renaming this thing. We're not looping over files here. Or I guess we are, but not yet, right? What happened over here? It's like my monitor like restarted. Is the stream still going? / recording. That's what matters. The recording's still going. God, if the recording's not going, then I'd start all over and pretend like I have not done this before. Because I want to record this and put this up on YouTube. I think this would be neat. All right. So, but we don't want to loop over files yet. We are going to get files though, right? But that's so. In fact, let's put this somewhere else. And it'll have to obviously change too, because it has a static delay right now, and it needs more features. But this will be the look over the files, add animate animation files. And then you add them, all the files, and then optimize and write, right? But and then delete. In fact, this, right? I think this could be put in there, but this worked, and I don't want to change what worked for now. And break accident. I don't know why it broke. Okay. So here though, we need to say, give me the things, or build. All right, so let me think. Play. This thing needs to loop over for this thing that I copied up there. What? Why did I can't even bring myself to copy it and uncommented it. So why did I do that? I'm going through here and looping through all the files. I don't need to do that. Because I don't need to do a loop. I can just add them as I'm getting them. In fact, this thing might even be like some kind of async thing we could do. Ooh, what if we could do that? What if we could do some kind of async thing where in the future? Because it takes time to optimize stuff. So, like, I wonder if... this is a brilliant idea. If I have a very long animation, I can figure out, like, I can animate different portions of it in parallel on different threads, and then combine the two animations into one animation in the end to get the end animation. bet you I can do that in a way that's like fast. I bet you can do that with this tool. I bet you're smart enough to do that. Okay. If I fed it the right thing the right way. But I'm not gonna do that right now. Okay. So yeah, I think I want. Why did I rejigger this thing? Just to possibly come back to almost right where it was anyway. Because I was thinking I was going to do like some kind of function pointer, some delegate, as C# likes to call them. And basically, yeah. I think I do want to do that, right? Yeah, that's what we said we were going to do. We as in me. the me we. We said we were going to var if try play next. See, try not really playing it next frame, because you call it play if it was actually building it, playing it, but it's actually not even building it. It's just getting the information. So you wouldn't call it play. You would call it, let's just call it get. So, and then we don't have a key or anything to ask for it. I think we don't have a key, do we? Scene frame. I'm looking up at the play move frame, because that's what's gonna we're gonna have to like translate back into the if statement kind of thing. Out, and then so we got a. What's the output of this thing? What's the output of? I guess what do you need? You need a path to the file that it just made. Probably. Yeah. Image file path, and then that'll be a string, and then so if you got a new one, or while you keep getting new ones, then that'll build them. This, right? Yeah, that's what it was doing. It was just taking these files. These files are just strings of file paths. So we seen it, and then it adds it. It must just be like behind the scenes, probably just a list or something. And then you can index right into it. So, but you gotta know what your index is. So that's why I started. I just had a counter to know how many I added, so that after you add it, the one you just added will be that it starts at a 0, and then 1, then 2, then 3. All right, and then we have a delay that we need to do. How How do we know what our delay is? Oh. Okay, so we don't need the image path. We need a image. Yeah. I think can I use? Which one is it? Man. Oh man, it's getting late. I thought I could do this faster. I don't think I have. Oh, why am I? I don't think I even have the animation. I called it a frame. Should call this animation frame. Let's call it that, so I don't get lost and exactly which it ties it, makes it next to each other. Scenes and frames, they're next to each other alphabetically, so they're easy not to get lost. Okay, so I think we need a new data type here. Anyway, so what is this going to be called? This is going to be called the thing. The animation. I hate naming things. In the animation info. In the animation info, we'll have the image file path and it'll have the decaseconds. The animation delay in the format that, and I will make sure at that point it then gets formatted the way the collection wants it. Right. And then alright, so this needs to be animation info reading rainbow. And then okay. So yes. We got delay. And it has path. And then right. So how do we get it? We get our next frame and then where are our we loop over the plan. How do we get okay? To get the next one we have to know which one we're on. Right? Yeah. Oh, I don't know why I did like this. I don't know if I should patch it in an index or just store it here. I should just pick. This is a mess. I'm not liking some of this is not feeling a little rough around the edges, and I'm not liking exactly the way this is structured, but it'll work. And I shouldn't get bogged down on it right now. Let's just get something functional. All right, so we'll have a frame index. I guess we'll start -1. I like to start -1 when it's not. We don't have anything in it. Excuse me. So let's see. Okay. And then that. All right. So what? That's right. I opted not to pass it in. Just store it as a private variable. This is gross. This will be refactored later. But okay. So we need that. That one tells us which one we're on. Because we need to know which one we're on. Where is this code that I copied? Okay. I'm trying to yeah. Wait, who's your reference provider? I'm about to delete this guy. Who's your reference? Yeah. The thing right below the thing you're writing right now. Alright, okay. So, what did I call it? The next frame index? Next. Frame IDX. We'll set to 0 because then we're calling it next. Okay. And then dot frames next frame IDX. Add one to it after the fact. What did I put naked read only? What's the deal? That is the deal. We're adding one to it after the fact, so the next time it'll be 1, 2, and 3. Alright, we got a scene frame. What are we gonna do with this scene frame? What is on our scene frame? Get frame data and frame type. Alright. If frame type equals move, then yeah. Move. Oh, that's right. Get move animation. Animation info. And then also I want to we gotta pass something in here, right? We gotta pass in the frame. I guess the whole frame. Oh no. No, that's not passing. That's not even passing the frame because the frame is just the frame is like the type and then the object data that's uncast. So let's go ahead and cast this guy as a, what do we call that? No, you don't cast the frame. You cast the frame data. Cast that. What is that? And then this function. There we go. For the deal, we're gonna have to deal with it in here or here. That'll help us. How does that help us? You're perfectly happy with that? I don't get. Why is that? Because that can be null, right? Doesn't that? Maybe I don't understand C sharp as like I do. Like I think I do. Can't that be null? All right. So did we define what this was? Yeah, it's a decasecond delay, and oh, that's not because we let it create our property for us, and that happened to be probably the first one in the, what do they call it, image magic constructor of whatever class that is. Okay. Using the compiler guides per usual. Okay. Man, I need to go to bed. I don't think this is going to be done tonight all the way. I think we're going to have to do a part 2 to finish this up. I believe. Let's do a compile. We have not even attempted to compile yet. I just want to see how much broken code I have. Is it all in the scene file? Yes. Give me the grabber. Grab. It's all basically right here. Kept this pretty clean. I don't yet. Nothing talks about that anymore. I don't think that's any value anymore. Are you done? Get the image information. Oh, this thing's gonna have to have intent folder passed to it. Has to, got to. Chain it on down. Chain it on down. If move type, return true. Return false, return error, really. We're just gonna return false for now. What? Is that what it wants? What does it want? What do you want? Oh, because I didn't say it was nullable. Do I have to do this? Really? That's so weird. But it's not null there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Give me this quick as here. Fine. I don't understand this, and I don't want to deal with it right now. So I don't understand why are you complaining? Can I convert non-literal? God, they're so strict these days. I don't know what is the right. I mean, there's no value. I don't know what the right pattern is to suggest to people right here. So I'm just gonna do this. I don't know what the right pattern to appease the compiler gods right here is. This is what I'm going to do. This is the right thing to do, the cleanest thing to do. I don't know that it is. I don't know what happened there either. I'm tired and pressing wrong keys. If none is not equal to... Wait, but is this thing gonna compiler god? Is the compiler gods complain about this default? Or if then or if equals default. None equals new animation. Return none. Read only static field. What? None may not be null. May be null here. Well, oh, read on. Okay. Anyway, at least that's appropriate there, though. Okay. I don't know if this is the right pattern to use. It's probably not, but that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll just create a static none version of the animation of it's that singleton represents the lack of, and it'll never be looked at because if I get a false, I'm never even gonna look at the value. That's what you do in the tries. So dumb. That's what you do in the tries. You never even look at the value if it's false because you assume that you weren't given one. Right. Alright. I tried to ask this question a while ago and then I think I got stopped out on it. What is this? No, not yet. I think you're done. Hard to say for sure. Done. Done for now-ish. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to go to bed. It's getting too late. Alright. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to bed. So, tomorrow, I will pick this up. Finish part 2. Create my little stream mascot app. Which, how long have I been doing this? 2 hours? Alright. I think I can get from this point and within another 1 to 2 hours, I think I can get from this point to a mascot walking across the screen and doing various things in my scene. But I'm too tired and I need to go to work tomorrow, I think. So I need to go to bed.